Well, good evening, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. You know, this off season so far has been kind of a bit of a disappointment. Before I get to our Cowboys and the disappointment that we have, the Eagles, there's rumored to have been in contact with the Honey Badger. The Honey Badger is taking his time and doing his visits and things and knows that he'll get a job someplace, that there's definitely a market for him. So he's not in a hurry to kind of get this thing done, although some of that money is drying up kind of quickly, so you might not want to wait too long. And the Eagles looking and saying, let's see what we can do to improve our situation, which kind of is a little bit of a surprise, knowing how many draft picks that they have, that they're looking to sign them. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy with a day job and a voodoo doll. For our Cowboys, it's funny because it seems like there is the perception and the persona that the Dallas Cowboys and the organization that is the Dallas Cowboys is trying to put on. And then there's actually the reality of what they are. Sometimes it's not so much the crime as it is the cover-up, the denial of what is actually happening. I'm sitting here trying to understand, what plan is this of the Dallas Cowboys? Because everything seems to be discombobulated, or maybe disconboobulated, because they look like a bunch of boobs. From the beginning of us losing to the 49ers, since then, everything looks like, if you're trying to do the exact worst that you can, that would be the Dallas Cowboys. Let's recap what's happened so far this offseason. If you are a social media guy, if you're a guy who's a blogger, if you are a guy that hates the Cowboys, then you've loved this offseason, because for the Cowboys, if it's only about selling tickets and having a buzz and having your name on everybody's lips, you've succeeded in that. But if it's about winning football, they may win in spite of themselves. And sometimes that happens because Barry Switzer, I won't look and say, oh, Barry Switzer's a great coach because, the Cowboys won a Super Bowl with him as the head coach. That's a situation where they won in spite of him. And this is where we look at this with the Cowboys. They may end up doing really well. We may get lucky as can be. In the draft and find another Diggs and another Micah Parsons and just get lucky and make it there. But if this is actually a design, I can't see where there's a plan here for the Dallas Cowboys to compete with some of the dreadnoughts of the NFL. So we started out, first of all, undermining the coach and basically having a love fest with Sean Payton, to the point where Sean Payton had to actually answer rumors on, I need to call Mike McCarthy and let him know his job's safe. How would you like it if a woman called your woman to tell her, don't worry, I'm not going to take your man? Right? What would your woman do if another woman called her to say, don't worry, I'm not interested in your man? That'd be some shit, wouldn't it? But that's basically where we are here with the Cowboys. I mean, literally, Jerry Jones goes on and says, Mike McCarthy knows he's not going to be coaching here forever. Yeah, but is forever only like 2 weeks? Because that's what we did. We literally cut the guy's legs off. And then here it is. We got the owners meeting where all the coaches, even coaches that are saying, you know what, I'm going to leave. I'm going to give up. Even they're there. Okay? Bruce Arians was there, knowing that he didn't just decide one night, I'm going to retire. He knew when he was going over there he was going to retire. But where was Mike McCarthy? He was back in the office working on red zone offense. So you've already screwed up with your coach, and you've already let everybody know that Dan Quinn, we brought him back because he could be a head coach. And, of course, the love fest with Sean Payton. So you mess up that situation. Then you proceed to take one of the best route runners and devalue him. I understand, Devontae Adams got traded from Green Bay, right? Because it didn't work out. You think they honestly looked and said, we just want to get rid of this guy? No, they'd rather have the talent there. But unlike the Dallas Cowboys, they turned it into a free agent being a first and second round pick. We take a guy who's under contract, we give him away for a fifth rounder. And we end up paying him more this year not to play for the Cowboys than to play for the other teams. Also, we have a guy who played admirably in Cedric Wilson, who was Michael Gallup-esque when Michael Gallup was down. We turned around and said, no, we can't pay that guy. He's too expensive. He signs a $6-7 million deal, per year. Okay. So now 2 of your top targets are gone. So now you get rumors, of course, of the Cowboys were interested in Devontae Smith, who was traded for a third-round pick. None of this seems to make any sense whatsoever. And we look around and we're told, oh, we can't make deals. Yet the Super Bowl champions, who were knee-deep and hot, found a way to sign Bobby Wagner, a guy who was in conversations with you, and you lowballed to the point where it was just like, I just can't do that. You lowballed and pissed off DeMarcus Lawrence to the point where he said, just release me. You lowballed to the point of having, God, I'm having a brain. I'm just literally. There's so many things going on here that I'm literally having a brain fart. The best safety play we've had in the last 10, 15 years. You pissed him off because you lowballed the hell out of him. You say we don't have enough money to sign the punter, who's a Pro Bowler. You finally worked that out. And as far as free agency goes, you've signed 2 guys who aren't former Cowboys, and Dante Fowler and James Washington. You had Von Miller interested in coming here, but you didn't even talk to him. And it seems like there is no plan here for what you're trying to do. If it is, if it's baffling with bullshit, then they're doing that well. They're doing that really well because nobody has any idea what the grand design is here. You've lost 2 offensive linemen. You've lost 2 wide receivers. You've done little to replace the receivers. You've done little to replace, or you've done nothing to replace the offensive lineman. You end up, I forgot. Then there's Randy Gregory, that whole screw up there. First you wanted him, and now it's El Paso, and now it's trash the guy. We didn't need him. I just don't see it's everything with the Dallas Cowboys is reactive instead of proactive. See, when you make a move, you need to also think about the consequences of that move and what the moves are down the road. So you say to yourself, Amari Cooper, we're pissed off because of COVID shots, or we're pissed off that he, doesn't work, that he won't work through injuries and things, or he disappears again. Okay, I get that. If you're going to say we're going to take one of the best route runners in football and we're going to get rid of him, the question is, how do I replace him and how do I get the most for him? Because, see, here's part of the problem with the Cowboys. We never get anything for our players. We end up overpaying them, and then we end up letting them go elsewhere, and we get no compensation. And see, the problem with this is you're taking some of your talent away each step, and you're not replacing it. See, for me, in my mind, this never made sense to me because we end up spending so much money on stuff that's made elsewhere. So that money is going out the country someplace else to bring in these goods that are disposable. But we keep spending it. At some point, all the money is going out there and you're getting less and less here. And see, that's when I look at it and say, okay, Lyle Collins goes. Okay, you may agree or disagree with that, but now he's a guy who has to be replaced, as well as $5 million of cap room is lost. Okay, Amari Cooper, he goes. Okay, he's got to be replaced, and now you got $6 million of dead space. You end up getting rid of Jalen Smith in the middle of the season last year. Okay, I can't disagree with that, but guess what? You paid his full salary last year, and then you got $6.8 million you're paying him this year. So as you look at the amount of dead money right there, just between those guys, you could have had Bobby Wagner. You could have had Von Miller. You could have had Za'Darius Smith. But instead we say, no, we can't afford those guys. All this points back to one place. Stephen Jones does not know how to run an organization. And the Cowboys are in denial to think that he does. Sadly, not a damn thing we can do about it as Cowboy fans. Other than find another team. Other than that, we're screwed. So, that's where we are. Eagles looking at Tyrann Mathieu. Keanu O'Neal signs with the Bucks. The Cowboys, just sitting pat. Hope you guys are having a great evening. And I'll catch you on the flip side.